Hello and welcome to Simonheals. My name is Simon. For those of you that are new to this channel, I set up this channel just at the beginning of this year. And really the intention of this channel and the way that I've named it reflects this, is for me to share my healing journey. And really, actually, the process of making these videos is part of the healing journey for me. I found that as the content of these videos develops and unfolds, it's a process within me that is developing and unfolding, and I'm just kind of like sharing that along the way. For the last 10, 11 years or so, I've been offering my services as a healer, for want of a better word. It's not necessary. I use that word because I think it communicates what I do. So I work in energy healing and modalities such as Reiki and sound healing, Theta Healing, and a few others. I am a spiritual coach. And I also have a lot of experience in detox. So 9 years ago, I came over to Thailand, where I'm located now, to set up a detox retreat and healing center, which was something that I saw in a vision that I received, that kind of led me on this journey. So yeah, this channel is really about sharing my healing journey and offering myself to you to be of service in your healing journey, if at any time that feels relevant for you, that resonates with you. Now, one of the really unexpected and, absolutely marvelous consequences of this channel, of launching this channel, is just some incredible people that I've connected with. And if you have been following the channel for a few weeks, increasingly I'm meeting up with these people that I've met online, and we're putting our conversations out on video. And today is one of those occasions where I'm really honored to introduce you to Karin Mehler. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Correct me, Karin.
It's just fine.
Thank you. Yeah, so Karin is in Sweden right now. I'm here in Koh Samui in Thailand. And we were just discussing actually just the miracle of technology and how it's allowing us to come together, and how a community of like-minded, like-hearted souls are finding each other. Karin and I definitely fall into that category. Karin has a channel called Soul Island Awakening, which I highly recommend that you check out. There's some fantastic content in there. And Karin introduces herself as a coach. I guess by that you mean a wellness coach, Karin. Yeah, as a coach and a wellness therapist. So welcome, Karin. Yeah, and if you'd like to add to that, tell us a bit more about yourself, your journey to where you're at now and where you are at now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Simon, for inviting me. I've been excited about this all week since we decided this date. Yeah, you're spot on. I am a certified coach and stress and wellness therapist. And, I've kind of created my own way of working with that. At this point in my life, I have been working with education for the last couple of years, where I educate new stress therapists, and I also have a couple of courses which is in stress management and in personal leadership. So I have been developing that during these last couple of years when we have been, maybe not as usual living as we've been before, but well, my journey, I have been working with myself and my healing journey for the last 20 years or something like that. It started very early for me because I was struggling with stress and imbalances already as a teenager. So that was a how do you say, wake-up call, because I really needed to start looking into myself and learning more about myself as a very young person. So when I grew up and became an adult, I really wanted to do something with it. I wanted to do something with the knowledge that I had gained about health and about healing and about how to really cope with being in a situation where you are not your, how do you say, your full potential. Maybe you have something you want to heal yourself, or difficulties and challenges. So that's where this coaching and wellness therapy subjects came into my life. And I really, started to feel, how do I want to act like? Some people do want to have individual conversations, which I have had a lot of clients. Or you want to work with education, or you want to, maybe some people want to do channels and all kind of those things. But I have done almost everything of that. And right now it's more about, for me, to get through to more people through the courses and to really focus on empowering each individual to get a sense of how to cope with the life situation we are in right now, maybe is a good focus, but also how to lead themselves, because we have been in a society where we have a lot of leaving our power away to someone else, almost for everything that we have in our lives. You go to a doctor that tells you how you feel or what you need to do. You go to a banker or someone who knows finances to help you with your finances, or you go to an eye doctor when you have an eye problem or whatever. And I really wanted to bring that back to ourselves so that we can make good decisions for ourselves. Because if we don't know anything about what we are wanting help from, you cannot make a good decision. You need to educate yourself on different areas to be able to really come forward with yourself and with your life in a very more empowerful, how do you say, self-empowerment way.
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now. So I have been working very hard the last couple of weeks to launch the international version of this personal development course, which I call Take Your Power Back, which I have much tools as I absolutely have to really just give it out there to anyone who wants to take part of it and make these tools their friends as well. Because, it's just not learning something and you are to one time and then now I'm done, now I get it. It's really about gaining self-knowledge and having these tools as your friends and helping you along the way. So, I'm excited about that. I have took a day off or two to just, relax and get into the feeling of it being released. It feels really good.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, you're literally just launching your course today. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And
Yeah.
and what is the name of the course?
It is called Take Your Power Back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that says it all, doesn't it? I mean, actually, just I'd like to hear more about the actual content of the tools and the of the course, and a little bit about the tools that you offer. But just before doing that, we were getting into a conversation before I hit the record button about how the blessing in disguise of the last couple of years. And, many of us now talk about awakening, about the awakening. And I know you and I haven't spoken about this specifically, but I suspect for you, this awakening started well before the last couple of years ago. I know it did for myself. But yeah, there has definitely been a surge in that kind of awakening process. It's like a wave that's rippling exponentially now through the collective. I think a big part of that awakening is waking up to the understanding that ultimately each of us is responsible for ourselves. And those institutions, those structures that we have given our power to historically, or at least in our lifetimes, as you say, whether it be the medical or financial, educational, etc., that they have been systematically failing us, particularly over the last couple of years. And it's almost as if the whole pandemic kind of situation was set up to reveal this to us. And I strongly suggest at a spiritual level that is what has happened. As I said to you before, I'm reminded of that expression that God works in mysterious ways. And I can't help feeling that, what has been going on over the last couple of years has been to wake us up in this way so that we realize that ultimately we've got to take that responsibility for ourselves. And that's why I feel that the work that you're doing in your course is so timely. And so, yeah, I'd like to hear more about the actual tools that you offer within this course, what that you're teaching in these courses. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's actually quite much. It's 13 chapters where I have, it's based in self-knowledge, really, to getting to know yourself more. What are your values? What are values, really? Your chosen beliefs. We are talking about a lot of that we need to deprogram. Okay, what do we deprogram? Self-esteem issues. How do we get there? How can we work with that? How can we improve our personal leadership and becoming the leader of our lives? So there's a lot of different layers to the course, I would say. And it's also a lot of not only focusing on the mental training, I am teaching other things as well. However, we do need to understand what is happening in our inner world. And that is a lot of knowing what are our thoughts. You know, we are not our thoughts really, but a lot of people think that they are really. So I get into that as well. What is dysfunctional thoughts and automatic thoughts, and learning how to discern which is which, how to cope with them, and how to use them as your advantage and not letting them control you. And I do that through different kind of tools like meditation and mental training, visualization, but also in a wider grip. Like I have this tool that is called the life wheel, which is very interesting, where you divide up your life really in different categories. It can be, you know, family and friends, health and finances. And this wheel is the most important things in your life, where you also get to think about it and reflect, where are you right now? If you would take each category and just see, is it, you know, from a scale from 1 to 10, where are you? And you do that in each category, and then you draw a line. You know, if you're in a third in one, and then you're in a fourth in the other one, you get to see, okay, how well is this wheel spinning right now? Am I in balance? Am I where I want to be in each category? No, maybe I'm not. Okay, what do you need to do to get yourself to maybe a 10? How would that look like? What do you need to do to really get in touch with that 10 on that category? And that is a very concrete way to really see what you need to do the changes that you want to create. And I have several of those kind of very concrete tools during this whole course, which later you will be able to put together in an action plan to really get a overview from this course. What have you learned? What have you reflected on? Where do you want to go? What do you need to do to get to where you want to? So it's based in very concrete ways to really make it as clear as possible, and also easy. It's not easy to do the self-reflection. It's really not. I had a student the other day that told me, you know, Karin, when I signed up for this, I really, you know, I was looking forward to it, but I had no idea it was so much work with myself. And that's what it's all about. You need to do the work to be able to create the change that you want. But the work doesn't have to be hard or difficult or, you know, boring. It actually can be quite fun when you see what you need to do. It becomes much more clearer and more inspirational to actually do the changes.
Yeah, it sounds very comprehensive and practical. It sounds like it's a very practical course.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is.
But it is also, it is that way because you would, it's a way to really, when you don't have these kind of conversations, it's more based on the online version. I really wanted to make it very, how do you say, to implement it very soon in your life. You will not have the feedback from me like this, where you and I sit and talk. It's like you focus on your assignments, and I jump on with a video or 2 or 3 to just, you know, encourage and with some tips and tricks. But there's also a lot of tips on how to cope with the mental training and the meditation, which is another way of connecting with yourself. And that's more of the, you know, getting in touch with the energy kind of feeling around this area as well. Because of course, we're so much more than our physical body. And that's kind of me introducing this to my students in this course.
And
then we'll see, maybe I'll make another one.
who would you say that this course is suitable for? So if anyone's listening to this and thinking, yeah, that sounds interesting, is it for me? Who would you say this is for? Where are they at in their lives?
Yeah, you know, you don't have to be at a specific point, really, more than that you really want to explore maybe your inner knowings and your self-knowledge at this point. This is the tools and the knowledge is really, you gain something from it no matter where you are in your life right now. And as I said before, these tools are working no matter where you are, what challenges you have right now. I've been working with several of them since I was a teenager. And even though I don't use them in the same way I did 20 years ago, they're still very good to use now because they are timeless. So no matter where you are on your journey, you will have something to take from it.
Yeah.
And I would like to say as well, you know, I have free previews of the course as well. So if you are curious, you can just go in and watch the introduction of the course and one of the chapters, which is personal leadership, and just for free, and just take a look and see if it's something for you.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good. So no, that's brilliant. So I'll make sure that I leave links for the viewers to find those. So I know from listening to your to some of your videos that you know, kind of subjects that are very close to your heart are ascension and awakening. You know, and these two words come up a lot in your videos. So I'd really love to hear from you what those two words actually mean to you, because we use those words a lot. You know, so yeah, what does ascension mean to you?
Well, that's a huge subject, as I always say. And that's why it's so interesting for me, I would say. I just learned about this whole process that we're in as a planet like 2 years ago. So even though I've probably been on my awakening journey for a bit longer than that, I didn't really realize that the awakening was kind of a result from the ascension part. So for me, it's been a huge learning curve, and I think it's very important to tell the story that this is what's happening right now in our world, so that more people know about it and can educate themselves about it, and just realize that, you know, we're part of something much, much bigger than what we actually can comprehend, I think, at this point. But it's also a way with ascension, which in a very short term
yeah,
is
what
like,
is ascension?
yeah, you know, it's the increasing of the vibration of the planet, really, from energies within the planet and the energies coming from external places of the planet, like the sun. And this is really affecting us in a way that we ourselves, our bodies are changing and are increasing in frequencies as well. And this in its own way is creating our awakening. We are questioning things, we are seeing things differently. And many of us that has been in contact with healing and the quantum is understanding that, you know, the veils are lifting from the different dimensions at this point. So there's a lot of things happening, and that is a very short answer to a very big question. But that's how I would explain the ascension at this point. There's a lot of talk about the new earth and all of that, and you know, that's very exciting, but at this point I would like to say that I don't know anything how that is going to happen, but I do know that we're on this very exciting journey where we are experiencing how we are transforming into something more than we have been.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a very good answer, as you say. It's a big subject, but yeah, and your understanding pretty much correlates with my understanding of, as you say, this rising in the frequency of the vibration of this planet, and us obviously as part of this planet. I think sometimes we forget that we are part of the planet. We're not separate from it. It's like saying that the cells in your body are separate from your body, you know. So and this increase in vibration and the frequency of the vibration is affecting everything at all scales, from down to the cells of our body, and even going down into the kind of molecular atomic structure within those, and then outwardly into the cosmos. So there's an effect at all those. So it's that kind of holographic nature of our existence and where we are within that. And it's certainly, yeah, it's certainly bringing about challenges, isn't it? And I think, you know, particularly if we're holding a lot of density in our physical bodies, whether that density is in the form of physical toxicity through, you know, eating the wrong foods and exposing ourselves to, you know, well, we've been exposed to, you know, to things like the kind of chemtrails and the different things that we've been injected with and stuff like that. So there's the very kind of physical kind of toxins, but also there's the energetic toxicity that we have accumulated and the traumas that we hold in our physical bodies. And I think it's these that are potentially making this ascension process challenging to some degree or another to us. And if you have been doing that work to heal, to release those traumas, and to do the physical healing work as well too, the detoxification, etc., then this ascension process, as it kind of ramps up it becomes increasingly, what's the word, kind of intense. It's like those energy levels are really increasing, aren't they? There's been like this steady build up, and then it's just getting faster and faster and faster. And then, so if you haven't been doing the work prior to that, it's a very, very intense process. I mean, even if you have been doing the work, it's still intense. I know myself, and I have been doing a lot of work over the last kind of 15 years or so, but still there have been periods within the last year or two that have been extremely intense. Yeah, and
yeah, I thought you. I'm sorry.
Please,
No,
because I kind of lost my train a little bit, so do jump in. Yeah.
That's fine. No, I just thought that you were explaining it very good, because it's really about getting to, how do you say, Well, it's a healing journey, that's for sure. And this is re-educating yourself in really all areas of your life. And that's taking up a lot of time and a lot of effort and understanding and compassion with yourself, because it's every day. You have no idea what you're going to face, really. and it's someday you might be dealing with some trauma, and the other day everything is just fine, and then you have a lot of ascension symptoms, and the journey is so individual. So there's no one size fits all in this. It's really everyone needs to make their own journey and face their own issues and healing ways. So I think that's one of the most challenging things right now for many of us that have been working with this very intensely, is that, there's no one outside of us, again, to tell us how we should do this or where we're going or anything. It's real there, this test where taking your power back really comes, because you realize that, okay, no, I have to face this on my own. I need to create my own way. I need to take responsibility for my healing journey, full on. No one can tell me what to do or tell me what I need. Maybe some bits you can get help with, of course, but no one will know the full answer. You need to really connect with yourself. Yeah,
that's a really good point that you raised there. That in terms of the healing journey, that we really need to reclaim our power and our responsibility and sovereignty within that, which brings me to what, say, our roles are within that, because both you and I offer our services as, let's say, healers. And as I say, I don't really like to use that word. Healing facilitators, maybe is a better way of saying it. But we have over the years and through our own journeys of healing, picked up tools that we're able to share with others. But I want to say, at least for myself, and I'd like to hear your perspective on this, but for myself, I can't heal anybody. Nobody can heal another person. And so the role of healer is very, very different than, say, the role of doctor, or the role that we've given to a doctor. And for me, the role of doctor is outmoded, is outdated. It's part of an old paradigm. And this new paradigm that we are transitioning into is, as you say, at the core of that is the taking responsibility for ourselves. But also knowing how and when to reach out to others to support, in that. And we all need support. I know I do. I have some amazing healers that I work with as and when I need that, but in no way do I expect them to sort me out, I know for myself that that's where I see my purpose and my mission very much going forward. Yeah. And I'm guessing you resonate
totally
with that.
Agree with you there.
Is the internet not so good?
Do we have a lag? No? You can hear me? Fine. I can hear you now, but it's best to check. Well, I have been practicing Reiki for a couple of years. And that was my really first connection with the healing part, the energy healing part, really, of this journey. Otherwise, I have been focusing very much about on the mental training, the physical, the health part of it as we know it. But when the Reiki came in, that opened a lot of perspectives for me, really. But I also just put it just like you, that we are not healers. I feel like that's just because you work with healing does not mean that you are a healer, that you are the one healing. We are being the channels for the energy so that the energy can do the job that it is supposed to do. So I call myself Reiki practitioner because I feel that is resonating a bit more with me. So yeah, I think that's very important to realize that we are our own healers. And that's again coming back to yourself and taking responsibility for your own healing journey, and not just giving your power away and, you know, go to a treatment, oh, heal me, and now I'm done. Hopefully, we will have technologies in not such a long time from now that will be able to heal many things at once on our bodies or our energy system. But even though they will exist and we will heal a lot of things, we still need to take responsibility for our own life and for our own journey forward. We can't just, you know, think that everything will be fine if I just go and lay down in a med bed and screw up my body again. You know, it's not working that way. So again, I think the most important step is to just realize that you have a very huge responsibility to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that you said that about the med beds, because I have my concerns about those. Not that I know if they exist or not at the moment, because I've never seen one with my own eyes or experienced one. I'm reminded of that movie called, is it Elysium? A movie called
Okay.
Elysium. Did you see that movie? And
no, I haven't.
Yeah, they have it's a movie with Matt Damon, and there's this off-planet world where the elites live, and the elite live these like really kind of beautiful lives, and down on earth it's like, you know, it's a slave, you know, humanity is in complete slavery, and the elite have these beds that they just lie in, and it just kind of heals them of everything and makes them younger and everything like that. And I'm a bit kind of suspicious about those, because you know, in my experience, healing ultimately needs to happen at the mental, emotional, and spiritual level. The physical body is a manifestation in the third dimension, in matter, of those non-physical aspects of self, which are what we really are. That's who we really are. And so to try and heal the physical at a physical level, it never works. And that's why modern Western medicine doesn't work and cannot work. At best, it can bring relief, it can deal with symptoms, but it will never deal with the cause. So the cause is always at that mental, emotional, and spiritual level. So my role as a healer, healing facilitator, practitioner, is to really help people to really see and acknowledge where at a mental, emotional, and spiritual level they have become in resistance to what we call it in Reiki, the key, which is the life force energy. And this is really, and you can call it God as well. I mean, really, we have many, many different words to try to describe what this is. And I don't even particularly like the word energy, because, you know, putting gasoline in your car, it's energy, or electricity comes out of the socket, it's energy. I think when we're using the word energy, we're also talking about consciousness, awareness, intelligence. We're talking about creativity. You know, this it's always looking to create and to evolve, and we are part of that. We're not separate from it, and we have to keep creating and evolving and growing. And I think as beings, we often have such resistance to that, because we get to a place where everything's feeling good and we just want to stay in that place. We don't want to change. And in a way, all these different structures that we've given our power away to are to avoid us, to avoid dealing with change. It's like to give the responsibility to others, so that we can stay comfortable in what we perceive as being a safe place of no change. And change is just inevitable, and it's happening moment to moment to moment. And our suffering is only in our resistance to that change. So for me, as a healer, a healing facilitator, it's really guiding others to let go of their resistance to that change and to really embrace that change, which then manifests as abundance and thrive in our lives, in our health, in our well-being, every aspect of our experience. And our resistance to that creates the opposite of that abundance and that thrive, and it creates stagnation. And that stagnation will manifest at some point as what we call disease in the body, you know. And when we let go of that resistance and really embrace that continuous growth and creativity that the universe, the key, the chi, God, source is offering us, and we get into the flow of that, then there's no way that any disease can exist when we're in that flow. So I don't know, you know, if what I'm saying resonates with you.
Yeah, 100%, really. And what I was thinking about when you were talking about that was that many of our cultures on this planet right now is living in a society which is not promoting change. You know, especially where I come from, you know, in Sweden, we have, of course, there's different parts of it, but I would say that for generations, it has been more of you educate yourself, and then you have your job for 40 years, and then you're like, okay, check, now I get my retirement and all that. So we have a lot of deprogramming to do when it comes to how we look at change. And I think that's, you know, when we have clients that have come to us, they are already wanting some deep down, they know that they want to make a change. So they are more open to this kind of thinking and to getting more knowledge about all of this. But I think that there's like a lot of fear for the change, and then there's a lot of social pressure for the change, because I know that I have been trying for several years to fit into the matrix box, to do everything the way that it's supposed to, and all that. But I have not, for several reasons, not been able to be satisfied with that. I have been working with different projects and companies and had different kind of roles. And that was not very, I've been very embraced by most of my jobs or working places. But there were still, a couple of those in the older generations that was like, Karin, you have done a lot of things, it wasn't really a good thing for me to try out a lot of things. I should be in one place for at least, 5 or 10 years, or there was some kind of resistance, as you were talking about, to this kind of change mentality and creating something different. But I guess that's why we are here right now, because we are here to show the way that to get other results than we have been getting the last, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of years we have behind us. We need to think differently, and we need to embrace that change now. And I think that's why our work are so important too, to inspire and to, show the way that change doesn't have to be dangerous. It can actually be quite fun. And if not, it's very healing when you embrace it. So we are definitely on our way to do something completely different than we have been doing for the last so many years.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, trying to change something by repeating the same processes and the same approach doesn't work. There's a famous quote on that. I can't remember the exact words. And to me, this, we talk about a raising the frequency of our vibration, but if I visualize that, what it looks like is rapid change. It's like faster, things moving faster, changing faster, and we're changing faster within that. I'm just kind of like aware of the clock time here. I think
I'm not.
No, I mean,
Like,
usually
okay,
it's usually something that I'm very conscious to disconnect from, but I'm aware that we should probably start to bring this particular video to a close. It's great talking to you and great listening to you, and I've no doubt we'll be doing this again. I mean, for me, I think a good way to kind of wrap this up would be to say to anyone that's listening that, really feels that this ascension process, as it's being called, and the awakening that they're experiencing within this, which is challenging. And both Karin and I, who have been on this journey independently for quite some time, are finding it, challenging ourselves. Just to offer reassurance that you're not alone in this, and that whilst we are not able to just go to the doctor, let's say, and get a pill for this, or open a bottle to escape from it, or all those other kind of ways that we collectively have managed the challenges of life. I think we're all awakening to this understanding that no, the buck stops at us individually. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, or we just go round and round and round, you know. And I don't know about you, but you know, I don't want to keep going round and round and round. I want to go up to a better version of reality, and we really are on the precipice now of transitioning into that new reality, and each of us has that choice to make within ourselves, and that Karin and I and others like us have believed that we have a call. I don't actually know, I'm not even going to use the word belief. I know that I have a calling to be of service during this process, and I know that I have tools to share with anyone that is struggling at the moment. And I know that you do, Karin. I don't know what those are specifically, but just at an intuitive level, I know that you do. And that we're here to be of service in any way that we can. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Contact details for both myself and Karin will be in the comments below. And yeah, we really are open to receiving your needs in any way that we can, and any way that we can help and be of service, that we will. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that, Karin, before we go?
Well, that would be, you know, learning how to really take responsibility for yourself is not something that we have learned from a young age if you haven't been forced to it, or, you know, been somehow educated in it. But we have a society where, you know, just saying that, oh, you need to take responsibility for yourself, all of a sudden it can be quite difficult, and you don't know where to start really. And that's exactly what you said, that's why you and I are here, to actually just offer some start to this process. So I say, just like you, if you have any questions to any one of us, then please do contact us, and maybe we can help you. Otherwise, I would just thank you for a lovely conversation and for inviting me to your channel. It's been really fun, and I hope we do it again another day. We have a lot of things to talk about.
I'm sure we will, Karin. And yeah, thank you so much. Likewise, it's been a real pleasure, a real honor. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.